podcast by Raging Roach.
Hello, this is James with Toward a Thrash and Into the Pit, and I'm here with Karina Sher of Mindlapse. And we're here to discuss her new single, Rage of the Masses, being released on Ragebreed Records. Uh, and here's Karina. Hi, Karina.
Hi, how you doing? You okay?
Hmm. Well, we're all interested. What has been happening with Mindlapse over the past, let's say, since the last album?
Oh gosh, right. So,
Let's
we've had quite a few releases. So, what happened was, if I go back, I suppose, to Forgotten Memories of Past Life. So that was the album that kind of was a discography of everything Mindlapse had released. And
Mhm.
prior to that, I'd been signed to Failure Now Records. So we had released myself an IEP, Souls for Sinners. Souls for Sinners was interviewed by Malcolm Dome, uh, basically at Total Rock. So the band had gone down to London and he'd done an interview there. And yeah, it was Total Rock approved. But then what I decided to do with that album was to basically, we'd gone through quite a lot of subgenres within Mindlapse. So we started off with gothic rock. We started to do a little bit of the rap metal stuff in sort of 99, and then moved on to progressive death metal in, I would say, 2002. And then it went even heavier. So then we did Haunted and the Prophecy, which has been sort of plugged like literally internationally. We got over 7K views on the Haunted video, and we got to #1 for metal in England for both tracks. That's on N1M, I believe it is. All those tracks was on the Forgotten Memories of Past Lives. So what I did for that album was just amalgamate everything that we'd done into one album. So since then, basically I've been working on a new album. So one of the tracks that you heard, which was released 29th of December, Rage of Masses, is one of the tracks that's going to be put on the new album. And what I've been doing is working on the Lake of Dreams movie. So potentially all the tracks that you're going to hear on the new Mindlapse album and the new singles are basically about a spirit that Kira meets in hell. So they tell her backstory, their backstory, and it's getting her ready for war, basically. And she is kind of like so this is the film we're talking about now. So she's kind of like this druidess, right? And she's all this like healing, and has never really encountered anything really bad. So for her to be able to handle a war, she needs to know how to defend herself, right? So the sage that she visits in the forest says, you can be with your man, but you need to be able to defend yourself because there's going to be a war and all this kind of stuff. So she goes into hell, and each song of Mindlapse is basically going to be a spirit from hell who she meets that trains her into how to defend herself. And when Rage of Masses is the first track, so this is when she actually enters hell, and she's standing next to this tree of embryos, right? And she's looking down, and there's this big battle. So you've got the demons that in the video of the Rage of Masses, you've got the demons and you've got the soldiers,
yes.
and basically they're going to war. So when she comes into hell, she sees this huge, massive war, and
Hmm.
she's looking down, from this higher place next to a tree of embryos that's kind of like on fire because it's hell. You've got to
Right.
make it very
Right.
dramatic.
Yes.
and she's literally looking at this war, and so Rage of Masses is the introduction of her coming into hell. She's looking at the demons fighting the soldiers, and the soldiers are fighting them because the angelic kingdom have said to the soldiers that if you defeat the demons, we will give you passage to your ancestors up in heaven. So they're fighting for their souls to be freed from hell because they feel like they've done their service.
Mhm.
They did wrong prior, basically. They've done some bad things while they were at war, so hence why they're in hell. And but the demons want to keep them, so they want to keep them in hell. So basically, it's this massive fight, so it's very, very like epic. This is like, like in Lord of the Rings, like I don't know, the orcs, this type of thing. It's kind of like that.
I was visualizing that as you're describing this. I'm just reliving the Lord of the Rings in my head, and it's just like
Yeah, yeah,
absolutely insane. It's
yeah,
awesome. This is really
yeah,
cool. Keep going. I'm interested.
yeah.
More
No,
and more.
so it's so she's literally, so in Rage of Masses, where you've got the ferociousness and then you've got the high end, so that's sort of like the soldiers and the demons, and it's like, we will win and all this. So you've got a lot of like war dynamic in the lyrics. I've even sort of put in like, sort of like, because while we were writing the drums and things like that in the studio, I was saying to John Mitchell, and he's obviously the producer and did all the live, music side. But I said I want it to feel like it's in a battle. There's a bit where it's like, in the song, sort of, where it's like war and it's like fight, and it's like you've got the two, vocal styles, which is death metal and then black metal, and it's like, you can sort of visualize them marching to war. So the drums sort of represents that as well at that point. And so she's literally, and so when I go into that melodic single, which is like, it's her looking down at this war, like she's like, oh my gosh, like she's never encountered anything like this. She's been very protected, because her tribe live in this mountain tucked away, never really had to deal with anything. And all of a sudden she's being exposed to this war, and all these people that are sort of manipulating and deceiving her, and because it's hell, isn't it? So it's all with all the bad spirits. So it's like her sort of like facing this, like this whole new world that she has no idea how to like navigate, because she's only ever just healed people. So it's about her learning from her spirit guide, who you'll see like with a cloak.
Mm-hmm.
And he is basically her guide through hell. And he basically tells her what's what, and she has to have a mission when she's in there. And it's all about really her being able to sort of go from this healing passive druidess to someone who can be a queen. So she has to be able to defend herself, because if there's a war there, she needs to be able to direct people, she needs to be able to do this and that. She has to expect that there's going to be bad stuff happening. But with her current state, because she's too loving and caring, and she heals, so it's completely out of her comfort zone. So in order for her to be with the man that she loves, she needs to be able to sort of deal with the war aspect. So each spirit that she meets in hell will be a Mindlapse song, and it will be her defending herself. So she'll learn how to sword fight, she'll know how to, there'll be another like demon that might be like sort of black metal kind of music, and he'll be teaching her like, how they think, how a deceptive person thinks, and how she needs to defend herself in order to do that. So it's going to be very like concept driven, the whole new album. So in the meantime, so while since the album The Last Forgotten Memories of Past Lives, I've been working on each song to represent the spirit. So it's all done, it's all written, it just needs to be recorded. So I'm sort of doing that in stages, because what we're going to do is singles first, and then release the full album probably towards the end of the year or early next year.
And then when can we expect the movie?
So it's currently being written, and what's happening at the moment is I start writing it, and then I think, oh, that's a really good idea, because as I'm making the music videos, I'm also introducing new characters, and I'm thinking, actually, I think she needs to have a quest while she's in hell. So I'm sort of going back and then rewriting, and then, because I want it to be perfect, I don't want it just to be sort of like a very cliche thing. I want to add pieces. So there's going to be other stories going on within her story. So you're going to meet new characters. Like, you're talking, the actual land's called Octavia. There's like 8 kingdoms. So there's mermaids, there's like warrior kings, there's going to be, the angelic realm, the hell realm, demonic realm. You've got, so there's like the magical world of wizards. You're going to have so much in each sort of area. So you're going to be introduced to loads of different. So you're going to have all the mythological elements like dragons and unicorns and mermaids, all the things that you can think of mythological wise. We're also going to have like so that there's a part in it where there's like, so you've got like warrior kings are kind of like live in the mountains and they have dragons around, and it's going to be very like, kind of really cool. It's all about fight, and then you have like somewhere like the angelic realm where it's all healing, and it's all about so you've got all aspects in this movie. You're going to have a lot of, it's going to be adventure, it's going to be, I don't know how I'm going to fit it all in one film, but I've got a very good idea of how I'm going to do it. But then you see there's 3 films lined up. So the EP of Lake of Dreams was basically her love story, and then the last song is called Ether, which is where she goes to the sage, and the sage basically says you've got 3 options. You can either stay with the man as you are now, and this is what your fate will be. The second card is you both part, and the third card is if you both go on your personal journey of learning how to defend yourself, and his journey is to resist temptation from the king's daughter. So it's like, because he could stay as he is, but the king has got a daughter, right? Now, if he stays in that situation, he's got nothing to lose, really. So he could literally, like, he's like the head person that kills witches, which makes it very awkward for Kira because she's part of the magical realm that he is meant to destroy. So it's a very dark relationship because they shouldn't be together, really, because, like, what I mean? It's a really fucked up situation. So she's like, why do I love you? Because you kill my kind. And he's just like, but I love you. Oh, shit. And the moral conscience, because after he falls in love with her, he goes back to the king and he's telling him to kill all these people that he knows goes against his love for her. So it's about his transition of being this brutal kind of emotionless person that's having to face his emotions for her, but then it's contradicting everything. But then at the same time, the king's daughter is coming on to him, right? So he's just like, what do I do? Because he could potentially become a king in the future. So he's got a lot of ambition. This is a kind of guy who kind of is ambitious. He likes to have lots of women around him. He's always been kind of this, like, he's the king's hand. He's led the armies to kill magical people. So if you can imagine, this is a guy that's completely the opposite of who Kira is. She's just like this loving person who just wants to be loved. But then all of a sudden, they both fall in love. And what a dilemma.
This is
What a dilemma.
this is just, I'm so intrigued with this whole story. I'm just I can't wait. I'm honestly really intrigued.
Yeah.
I have to keep hearing more. You you can continue on. I mean, I'll have the whole movie
Yeah.
out of you by the end of the night. Let's see, how long do we have? It's only like 7:21 here, and I know it's much later over in England, so
That's okay. Yeah.
I'm
That's fine.
joking.
Yeah.
No, it's just so amazing. You're coming up with all this, and you're even wondering if it'll even fit in one movie. And this is just, we're talking about just one album of songs. That's just
Yeah.
incredible. It's
Yeah.
just mind-blowing to me.
Yeah.
So would you ever consider doing a trilogy of the movie?
Yeah, that's what my next thing was going to be, because I thought, well, the third, so she chooses a third card in the first movie, which is quite interesting because this is the hell scenario, so that's why you got Mindlapse in the album. But obviously, what I'm going to do, the trilogy is going to be if she makes the other choices. So number one, she gets with him while she is at the time. There's going to be a different ending. Number
Ah,
two, what happens if they both separate? That's going to be another film. And what happens if they do? So it's good. There's going to be like 3 endings ultimately.
oh,
Um, So the first one is all Mindlapse, and like, and then the other two will be very interesting because it's about when you're not emotionally involved yet, and you approach something from immaturity, or you're not, the other person doesn't know how to behave, so that kind of thing. So it's like when the war comes and she's not ready, what happens,
Yes.
um and this is what I'm trying to say, and this is why it's so important to character build and be ready for what's coming, um, as opposed to just kind of stay to who you are at the point. Because great love requires great sacrifice. That's what love is. It's about sacrificing
Right.
and giving, and realizing what's important, what isn't important. And it really is interesting because it sort of touches on prejudices. It touches on what's important to you, what the difference between self-serving and you know loving someone from a very difficult point of view. Because it's like externally both of them could be killed for having that relationship, because if her magical people were to find out that she's in love with a man that kills her kind, do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, they're going to be like, what?
Yes.
on
Yeah.
his on his side, if he was found out that he's having an affair with someone that he's supposed to kill,
Yeah.
that's it. He'd be beheaded. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like a sort of a really strange dynamic, and I just thought it'd be so fun to put this in the mix,
Oh,
because I
that's
think this is going to really look at real world issues. This is the stuff that happens, and how do they handle it, but like I say, each movie will be a choice that they make from the stage. So it means that in the first movie you'll get all the like amazing mind map stuff, and you'll still get that within the other two, but it will be in different concepts, because it will be about not feeling like you're feeling back out of your depth. For example, oh my god, there's a war coming, what do? I can't just heal everyone.
right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So
So,
it touches on real life. It touches on, it's important because it's like, even in real life, people say, oh, just be really nice and everything. But if you're confronted with someone who's trying to kill you, like, you have to be able to defend yourself,
yes.
right? So it's like it's touching on real world issues, even though it's a fantasy project, with obviously a dash of horror because she's going into hell,
Yeah.
um, but for me, Mindlapse is pretty much going to be, the new album is going to be fixated on that side of hell, basically. And then obviously it will be introduced in the other two films as well, but it'll be in a different context. So yeah, I mean, even the earlier album that I did, so the actual title, Forgotten Memories of Past Lives, represents a spirit story. So each song represents a spirit story. So that's why I called it that, because it's like a story of somebody, or and it's like, because the spirit has passed, it's like forgotten memories of past lives. So that's why I called it that. Same as what Mindlapse means. We forget sometimes of history in the past, and yeah, it's very occult, if you like, as well.
Yeah. Yes. And I've really listened to Mindlapse today over and over again for the interview to prepare because I needed to
Mhm,
have that right mind frame. And I know
mhm,
we've spoken in the past about different things about how Mindlapse is death, more death. I find it very melodic death folk, in my opinion, and I
mhm,
love it like that. And I love the multi-dimensionalness of the music.
mhm,
I love
mhm,
how it's multi-genre. I mean, there's black
mhm,
metal in there. I mean, you
mhm,
have all aspects. It's all in different things.
mhm.
What do you feel? Do you feel that you try to incorporate all that, or does it just happen? Or
So when I first wrote Rage of Masses, it was actually a very long time ago. And it was when I was listening to a lot of early Opeth, when they were doing the really heavy stuff,
yeah,
and also the melodic vocals in there. So when you look at sort of, I don't know, one of my favorite albums is Still Life. I love that, and Morning
mhm,
Rise. Um, And I was listening to this stuff, and Blackwater Park, one of the classics. I was listening to stuff and I was thinking, oh my God, this is absolutely incredible. Like this, the guy can do like these dual vocals. It's like progressive death metal,
Mm.
but he has this beautiful moment of melody in between the songs, you know. And I just was blown away. So when I first wrote Rage of Masses, it was like inspiration from Opeth, I guess. And also, you know, bands like Death. I also really like Carcass. So I kind of like the high end as well. I do like a lot of, you know, some black metal as well. So, I mean, I would say probably, you know, let me think. I mean, I'm really into Saw at the moment, which is like a Scottish kind of pagany, ambient black metal kind of stuff. And I love it. I really love it. And you know, bands like oh no, let me try and think. Alcest. I love Alcest.
Mm.
But then when you're looking at the raw high-end black metal, you know, like Emperor, you know, so I love bands like that as well. And really into Old Man's Child. And I like obviously, you know, um, all the kind of classic kind of mayhem. You know, sort of stuff as well, and Nagaroth and bands like that too. Um, but you know, it's I wanted to have an element, so there was this dual thing going on because we did that in Souls for Sinners, you know, for Visions, and I like the feeling of guttural death metal vocals because I love it heavy, I love it proper brutal, but then I love that top end of high pitched, you know, really raspy kind of you know, metal style. And I thought the contrast would be great. But then because I wanted to incorporate Kira being there, obviously because this is her introduction into hell, I needed to do something which wasn't too taking over the song because I wanted to keep it heavy. I just wanted a melodic vocal just to be like, oh, you know, really kind of like that she's a presence watching as opposed to you know, her doing a lot of the too many, you know, lyrics and things like that. I just wanted a touch of her as a presence looking down upon this war, you know.
Well, that was brilliant. I think that was absolutely brilliant, including all
Mm,
that. And because it's like I was caught off guard by it, and it
mhm,
just was just so refreshing, and it was just like it just like transitioned so
mm,
perfectly into the next verse, and I just
mm,
thought it was awesome. I I think that's awesome. I like when artists do multicultural type different type of music
mm,
in their you know overall scores. I think that's
mm,
especially in death metal, it really helps a lot. I like death black. I like death thrash. I mean, poor
mm.
thrash, of course, death thrash.
Mhm.
But
Yep, I'm
no, but
wearing the
I think they
I'm wearing
all
the
brand.
top.
Yes.
Yeah,
But yeah, I don't have a Mindlapse shirt, so you're getting a Hobbs Angel of Death from Australia back in
yeah. I'll send you one. I'll send you a
1989.
Mindlapse one. I'll send you a Mindlapse one.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing the store for our bands actually in February, so
Okay.
you'll see the new single of Mindlapse on there as well. So you'll get shirts for the new single, and also for obviously the bands on our label as well.
Right, right. But now let's get back. So what's the net? What's in? I mean, I know you've also released by Lake of Dreams, Hold Me. Now,
Hmm.
what? Let's go into that story. I know you've already touched on it, but let's go
Hmm.
into where are you going with Lake of Dreams? Are you going to do that separate than Mind Labs, or is that just going to be you as solo, or is there going to be part of
Oh no, so how I'm kind of working it is they're both different projects.
Mhm.
Obviously, they are under what I do, so it's not necessarily going to be Karina Sher, Lake of Dreams, Karina Sher, Mindlapse. It's going to be Lake of Dreams with Hold Me, Mindlapse with, but obviously they're both part of the film, which is why I've kind of put them in. You know, when I'm sort of approaching people, you know, I sort of just bring both into one Dropbox because it's all to do with the film. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's you know, Hold Me was a very personal track to me because it was something that I wrote for someone who I love, actually. And it was about, you know, how he can be, you know, he suffers with avoidant personality, and he, you know, he finds it very difficult to trust, and keeps his emotions guarded if fear is very. And it's also relevant to Kira because, you know, in the film, she's asking him to be with her, okay, but he will lose everything. Like, he will lose where he is, what he does, you know, and that in itself. So I'm just gonna put that off, and that in itself is gonna, you know, just kind of wreck his whole career, you know, because like he's been building up this career, and you know, and it's literally just you know, it's made him feel really like, oh my god, what am I supposed to do now that I'm in love, you know? um you know, so it's very, so it kind of touches on two things. I think that the inspiration was to do with someone that I loved, and the battles that we go through, but also, you know, it's very sort of relevant to trauma. So, you know, like when people have been traumatized by love before, and you know, like when it's soft, it's beautiful and you feel really happy. But then when the self-sabotage comes in because of fear, oh, I'm getting too close, fear of vulnerability, then it's like hell, because it's like there's no stability, you know. And Kira goes through the same thing in this movie because she's it's different reasons, you know, because he's like you know, this man who kills witches, you know. So it's like it's a bit more extreme. But you know, I wanted to show that, you know, the most unlikely people can fall in love, and they might be completely opposite, you know. I mean, this guy kills people, she heals people. It's like the top, you know, it's like total opposites. And and you know, so he's thinking, you know, if I love her, then I should be with her, but then I have to leave my kingdom, and you know, I'm in this top rank thing. And it's about how, what's more important, is that more important, or is the love more important, or, you know, and it's about having this decision to make, you know, and figuring out what to do. And all the while he's also getting hit on by the king's daughter, who's constantly at him, you know. But what's interesting about Hold Me is, you know, it's also about, you know, how she can't even communicate with him because he's living somewhere else, you know. So yeah, she only sees him now and again. And so it's, you know, the silence all the time, you know. So she's having to deal with the repercussions of only seeing him when he gets time to be able to come and see her. So, and the rest of the time she's worried to hell because she's like, what am I going to do? You know, how am I going to have security? How am I going to, how do I tell my family? Like, you know, like what's, how do I navigate this? You know, so there's all these things that she's going through and all these things that he's going through. And logically, he always thinks logically, so he's thinking, well, you know, this is too much. Like, I need to think about myself. Why should I leave all this behind? And she's thinking, oh, what do I do? What do I do? You know, because I'm in love with him, can't live without him. So that's why she visits the sage. And the sage is going to be this really cool woman who's like in the forest, and she brings down the spirits of the ancients. And that's where you get Ether in the Lake of Dreams EP. And that's where, you know, they give her three paths. This is because ultimately it's down to timing, it's down to what you decide, but these are the fates of those three decisions. So if you get with him now, this is what happened. If you separate, this is what happened. But if you wait and you learn how to defend yourself, and he's able to stop putting himself first, and, you know, stop dealing with temptation, and choosing love rather than temptation and self-serving behavior, you know. So these are their two battles, I guess, that they have to overcome. And the interesting thing, in real life, you know, people make mistakes, but even in the movie, you know, it's going to be very reflective of how human beings are, you know. The reality of it, you know, the reality that these are real life things that happen in this day and age, whether it's fantasy, whether it's, you know. And I really wanted to incorporate that with how I'm writing in Lake of Dreams. So Lake of Dreams side of it is her relationship with him. So that's the emotional side. So, what you'll find is even with the Lake of Dreams EP, each song is representation of that relationship. So you've got I guess the EP has got things like memories fading, so she's trying to like, you know, forget about him, but then you've got patterns of non-existence because it's like he keeps making excuses and sabotaging, so he's trying to hurt people. How he deals with difficult situations, you know, is not the most healthiest way. So that's what that's about, because they fight quite a lot as well. And
Yes.
then you've got you know, you've got all these different songs, you know, like the day after. So they spend a wonderful night with each other. It feels perfect. It feels right. But then the day after, you know, he has to go back, and she doesn't know when she's going to see him again. So she feels lost, you know. Um, you know, so it's all these songs are very representational of that relationship. So it's a very dark romance because it's very outside the box. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like a normal relationship, you know, like how normal people would have. It'd just be very easy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
in that situation, it's the most difficult situation that you can possibly think of, purely because of how his personality is and how her personality is. It's about loving someone that you know, is used to being very self-serving, very, you know, I'm in this leadership position, I kill magical people. Like, you know, you've got to be a certain kind of person to do that.
Right.
Yet he finds he's becoming vulnerable because he's in love with her, and he doesn't like that. So he's trying to push her away, but at the same time he loves her as well. So he keeps coming back. So it's a very, very complicated relationship, but that is what the Lake of Dreams EP is, a starting point. So what you'll find in the new album will be obviously again related to their relationship of Lake of Dreams, but it'll also be I'll probably be introducing new characters when, you know, for the film, like you'll find in there as well. So I think the new album's going to be absolutely amazing. It's going to be so good. So same with Mindlapse, you know, it's all very representational of the concept project that I'm building for the film.
Well, I'm honestly looking forward to both albums. I was
Mhm.
actually playing Hold Me, and my wife actually said, "Is that Karina?" And because she's heard you in Mindlapse,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Yeah," and she's like, "She really has a beautiful voice," and I'm like,
Oh.
so yeah, so she's looking more forward to the Lake of Dreams CD
Hmm.
more
Hmm.
than, because she's just not into the guttural vocals as much
Yeah.
as I
Yeah.
am, as I mean.
Yeah.
So
You always find that. I find that a lot of women like Lake of Dreams. What's really interesting is you know, some of my family that I played it to. I mean, one of my family members puts it on Alexa, and she sings along to it. And
uh-huh.
I would
Oh,
never have thought that, you know, sort of people who are not even into this kind of stuff really enjoy it. But yeah, it seems to be reaching people that are even kind of beyond the metal alternative crowd. It seems to be going quite popular even with people that, you know, aren't even into that kind of music. So
well, it's a very touching story. The story is the complete story is very touching. I mean,
mm,
just as you were explaining it, it kept me wanting more and more
mm,
and more, and
mm,
keep going and keep divulging, because
mm,
as with any good story, you want to
mm,
hear the ending, and you want to see the
mm,
ending, and you want to see Kira, you know,
mm,
overcome all
mm,
anxieties and hurdles, and just succeed. But,
mm, mm,
but then you see the inner turmoil with Ethan, that he has inside between him and his family, and what he's supposed to do. And
mm.
you wonder what he's actually going to do. And you want to see him succeed also, and
Yeah,
both end up happy and both end up together. But will
yeah.
that happen? We don't know. It's
We
all
don't
in
know.
all still for you to divulge. Well, so here
We
we
don't know.
go.
That's for the film to, you know, unwind, because
Yes,
it's
I know.
interesting. It's so interesting because, like I say, every time I do the music videos, I think, oh yeah, I'm going to put that in. And that's the beauty of writing. These ideas come to you even when you're being very sort of like, when I'm making the videos, for example.
Hmm.
I'm thinking, yeah, I'd like that in it, and I think, oh, that could maybe twist into this. And
Hmm.
it's such a I just love the creative experience of writing, whether that's film, whether that's Lake of Dreams or Mindlapse. I just love that journey. It's just such a it's like your imagination has no limits, you know, and that's the beauty of creativity, I think.
Now that leads me to my next question. I
Hmm.
want to find out how flexible you are as an artist. Like, are you willing to, like, you're say you have all the writing done at this point as you're doing certain songs and you're creating the videos.
Mm,
Would you be open to adapting as you come and see different light to or different, like a different idea pop in your head?
yeah,
Are you that type of creativity? Or are you the
yeah.
type that says, maybe that's the next project? No, 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 I'm gonna explore this now. Are you that type? Because
I'm the explore this now.
yes, that's
Because
awesome.
yeah, because like I don't think you should be boundaried. If something has happened the
Hmm.
way it's supposed to happen at the right timing, there's for me it's like a sign. Use it and change, and
Yes.
or make better.
Mm.
So that's what I'm like.
I like to hear that because now I know that things aren't always etched in stone in this. So it could
No,
turn over the next, year or whatever.
yeah,
As the time goes by, it could be a complete and
yeah,
different ending. So here we
yeah.
go. Okay.
That's it.
Well, but you still have to stay true to Rage of the Masses, or could Rage of the Masses get Rage of the Masses version 2?
I think that one I think is pretty much set because it's already been
Okay.
recorded. But
Okay.
I would say I would probably say in songs that I'm right. Well, I've written all the songs, but it's like with Rage of Masses, and it's like with Hold Me. I mean, there's a part I actually added the night
Mhm.
um, before recording. Believe it or not, right? Hold Me. I was like, oh, there's something missing. I like it. I love it, but it needs another bit. And that night before, I started to go on the computer and I thought, right, what does it need? And then I played on guitar and I was just like, okay, it needs like a bit at the end, which is really, really emotive. And that's when you got the bridge part at the end. So many heartbreaks. Na,
Right.
na, 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 na. That bit that was written the night before.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to make it better. I was just like, it needs to be better. And for me, because I loved what it was, because at the time it was just like verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse. I thought it's too samey. I said, like, that's not me. I'm a very progressive woman, like I like to add bits. So it needed that last bit at the end, and then that's what when I literally sang it in the studio, I was like, that bit sends shivers down my spine. You
It,
know, it really does.
well, it actually does now down mine because now I know you written it the night before. It's just
Yeah,
amazing. That's
yeah,
cool. That's cool.
yeah.
Well, that's one of the main questions I had for you in that, because I know how, with discussing things in how you are, that I
Mm,
know I could see you doing stuff on the cuff like that. So I think that's
yes.
amazing. Now I know that you started all your music journey back in 1994, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And that was with neutral shade.
Neutral
Yeah, right.
shade, yeah.
Yes. Now,
Hmm.
do you still stay in contact with anybody from neutral shade?
Oh gosh, yeah. I mean, I was married to a guy called Gaz,
Hmm.
and we were together. He was my first love, actually, and we were in the band together with Neutral Shade, and then we got signed by obviously Helena Records. We actually divorced a while back, and but we're still, we still talk now and again. We're just friends. I've kept in contact with him.
Hmm.
Um, I think that the bass player and the drummer, they were kind of students, if you like, so it wasn't really a serious thing for them. So they kind of left the situation because they moved away and things like that because they were at uni and things like that. And then, but the Mindlapse, I guess people from who did the lineups, yeah, some of them are still on my friends list. I know one of them. So even with, say, for example, Haunted, that was Nathan, and he was in a band called Lordaeron. He's still on my friends list. You know, we still talk. Like there's people there that I've worked with, and we're still friends. There's some people that I don't know. We just kind of lost contact. One of them we had to unfortunately fire because of how he was talking to our producer, and you know, after that situation, we had to kind of say, really sorry, we have to let you go. But you know, it's going to happen. Lineups are like this. You know, you have to be very selective on who you bring on, and they have to have the same dedication. You know, and what I found during, you know, I think a lot of the problem also is a lot of people go into a band and they're not too sure if they want that fame level. And I think also there's pressure from girlfriends that want them to settle down and have children and, you know, not do that and, you know, be away from the music side. So you can get to a certain level, but then, you know, girlfriends can also, oh, you're not spending enough time with me and things. So we had a lot of that in Mindlapse, you know. So, you know, some of them decided, oh, I'm just gonna, you know, do the normal thing and give up their dream, you know, which is that, you know, at the end of the day, when you love someone, you know, there is that, you know, compromise that you have to have sometimes. But for me, I've always been the kind of person that, you know, if I'm a musician and I'm a singer, that's part of my blood, you know. So if anyone is ever going to be with me properly again, has to accept that, you know, I come with Ragebreed, I come with my projects, I come with film. It is something that is ingrained in me. For me, that's like, that's who I am. So I don't want to change myself and say, right, I'm going to stop doing what I love doing because it makes you feel insecure. You know, I don't want to do that. I'd rather have someone who's like, let's do this, let's build this dream, you know.
Yes.
So for me, that's what's important. It's having someone who kind of wants the adventure of Ragebreed, wants the adventure of Mindlapse, Lake of Dreams, because it's going to take us to a film. You know, it means recruiting people. It's not the most you know, conventional life that I have. So you know, for me to do what I'm doing, I'm aware that for most, you know, people, they just want to have a very basic kind of life, whereas with me, it's very like, you know, I mean, I'm doing podcasts one day, I'm doing managing a band the next, or I'm doing graphic design, site designs, training people, doing a film, writing a script, making music in the studio, doing interviews like this.
Yeah.
You know, and then that's when I feel well enough to do that as well, you know. So it's like I say, it's you know, it's a very different kind of lifestyle to most people, I would say.
Yeah,
You know.
it's very hard. It's a very hard lifestyle, and I gotta give it to you. It takes a strong woman to do this, and
Thank you.
I really have to say I think you're one of the strongest I've met. So I do have to
Oh,
give you some props on that. So,
thank you.
but I enjoy talking with you. You know, like I said, would what would you like to add and give to our viewers and give us some, you know, what do we have to look forward to? Do you have anything that you would like to give in addition? Are we going to see Mindlapse go on the road and do some live shows?
Potentially.
Okay.
So what I want to do is first do the album, um, and then I'm thinking if we have a live lineup ready by the end of the year, I'd like to get my naps on Ragefest UK potentially. But that's if we find the right people. Because the thing is, you know, what I don't want to do, and this is what I've been sort of saying all along, is I don't want to be a really big touring band. You know, even though we're signed, I'm more about the sort of producing of the records and the film, but I will be open to do festivals and, you know, things like that. So I've been offered a lot of festivals in America, believe it or not. And they've messaged me and say, oh, would you like to, you know, be on this stage? We've got this band, this band. And I'm like, oh, I'd love to. But, you know, at the moment, as it stands, you know, I'm kind of writing with John at the moment, but I don't have a live lineup sorted as yet. So I am in the process of recruiting. But they also have to be able to play the stuff that I do. And that can be quite challenging because it's not the usual kind of chord sequence that you would find. You know, it's very progressive death metal. So, and there's a lot of layers to it. It's not just like a simple chuggy riff. It's, you know, there's a lot in one song. You know, you've got
Yeah.
to be a pretty damn good guitarist to do it, and the solo side as well. You know, so but we will see. But yeah, I am definitely open to it. Probably towards the end of the year, and realistically next year, once we get the live lineup sorted.
Okay. And
Hmm.
and you say you want to do Rage Fest next year. I'm really looking forward to that in the
Yeah,
UK. In the UK, okay.
yeah.
That's
Well, I think Erasmus might be at the end of this year, actually, in the UK.
okay.
And then we'll maybe look at doing Rage Fest UK. Sorry, Rage Fest USA. I think we touched on this next year
Mhm.
potentially.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, I mean that's going to be badass, you know, because
Hmm.
it's like we're bringing Rage Fest internationally as well
Hmm.
as the UK.
Yes,
I've had promoters in different areas of the world want to do it there, like in Europe as well. So you know, this is going to be really cool because we've got, you know, the UK side potentially doing that with you as well next year in New York, which would be fantastic, which would
right.
be really good.
That'll be cool.
And obviously Keith has shown interest in Florida, so you
Yes.
know it'll be kind of cool to see the Rage Fest name kind of go global. That would be
Right.
badass, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it will. It's got a lot of potential. It
Hmm.
it can happen.
Hmm.
It,
Definitely.
I think it will happen. I'm
Yeah.
pretty positive.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
I know. I'm hoping to get in a booking agent as well because we have had a lot of people wanting to, you know, for Ragebreed to do the shows and stuff. But like I say, I mean, with Mindlapse, I think, um, yeah, definitely for live shows, but just not straight away. It's going to have to be kind of towards the end of the year next year
okay.
for sure. Same with Lake of Dreams, I think.
Right, right. I
Yeah.
understand that, and I completely respect that, and I can see your schedule, especially
Mm,
as busy as it is. So you have a lot on
yeah,
your plate, and I do know that. So
yeah,
I guess, we can only hope, and we hope for the best.
yeah,
So,
definitely. Um, yeah, in terms of what you were asking about, what I wanted to say about mind maps and stuff and what to look forward
mhm,
to. Obviously, we've got a new single that's going to be recorded at some point this year as well. So that'll be coming out, and then we've also got the merch. So the Rage of Masses merch will be coming out at the store in February.
right.
Obviously, they can now download and stream Mindlapse Rage of Masses anywhere.
Mhm,
Um, our previous albums are available on iTunes, Amazon, the usual places to stream and buy. I'm in the process of, I've got Mindlapse Bandcamp, but we've still got to put the earlier albums on there. We have got Haunted, the new single, and we've also got Rage of Masses on there as well. So
okay,
if they want to head to the Mindlapse Bandcamp, they can
mhm,
from there as well. And yeah, I mean, we're going to be doing, obviously, the new single will have a new video too. And if they want to check out any Mindlapse videos, for example, they can go to Ragebreed TV and subscribe.
mhm,
We've got like you know, a playlist full of our you know, videos and things like that. So and I'm just trying to think. And then obviously mindlapse.net um, is the website to go to. And then also lakeofdreamsband.com, I think it is. Um, so yeah, I think so. I think everything is pretty much in order at the moment. We're just looking forward to recording the next single now. So that's going to be the next step, and then finishing the script If there's anyone that wants to be in the film, would like an extra or anything, just drop me an email, which is Karina_Ragebreed@hotmail.com. I've been talking to lots of people in the scene who want to be in the scene, who want to be in the movie. So, you know, it's a great opportunity for people who've probably never acted before, but would like to have like a little bit of a show, you know, in there, you know. So I thought that'd be kind of cool.
That's very awesome. That's very awesome.
Mm,
I will make sure I get all the notes. It'll all be up on Tour de Thrash. It'll all be up on
yeah,
tourtothrash.com for in the future, as soon as the website will be up very shortly for that. But I will have it on my YouTube. I will have it on the radio. I will put
awesome,
up advertisements all over. So it'll be on
cool,
Tour de Thrash socials also. So
amazing.
so we will make sure we get you out there, and we will get that out, and we will get some positive flow going towards it. And I'm
Yeah,
looking forward to the movie. I really am.
yeah.
So
I was going to say also, if people want to check out, because we were actually aired on Bloodstock Festival TVs
mhm.
in 2024, and we also had a poster, one of the big posters out there as advertising. But we were also, like I say, on the videos, we were aired Ragebreed with Mindlapse and Naked Dreams in the video as well. We
Okay.
were aired 16 times throughout the festival in
Okay.
front of thousands of people. So it's, you know, really exciting stuff.
Oh, that's
And
awesome.
yeah, we did some serious advertising in 2024. You know, talk
I
about.
did. Well, I'm actually looking forward to you guys performing live. I'm
Mm,
I'm really anxious to see, you know, I'd like to see it, but I'm a big
mm,
live performance patron
person, yeah,
person.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
like it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. I'm missing being on stage. I love grabbing that mic and
Mhm.
screaming my heart out live as well. I love it. It's like, it's such a great feeling, especially when you've got people pitting and, you know, it's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
The pit.
fabulous.
Mm, I'm not much on the pit anymore. I'm too old.
No,
Yeah. You do get too
no,
old for the pit. It hurts.
yeah, I know. I remember when I used to, God, I remember Immolation in Derby, and I went straight into the pit. I mean, like back then, obviously, didn't have any neck or injuries, so I was literally going into pits. And then as I got older, I was like, actually, I'm just going to look at the side. Don't feel like being shoved today. I'm a bit old.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, immolation in the pit is, yeah, that's a rough one. I understand that. I mean, I was back in the pit with
Mm,
Exodus, Metallica,
mhm,
Slayer. I saw
mhm.
Slayer probably 39 times
Wow,
when I was 16 years old.
nice.
It was a rough summer following them around, but it was worth it. It was worth it. They were cool
Oh,
guys. They're
it's
very cool
amazing.
guys. So,
I've got a bit of a story about Slayer actually. Something
okay.
quite funny. So when I was very young, this is just
Hmm.
going outside the box, I guess. When I was young, my cousin was at uni in Sheffield,
Hmm.
and she used to live. She was the only metalhead in the house, and she lived with people that weren't really metalheads. Okay, and anyway, so we so they were saying, oh, you know, your music's too heavy and all that kind of stuff, and blah blah blah. Anyway, so we decided to play a practical joke on them, and what we did was we left the Slayer video on, and you know the Slayer videos were
Yeah.
very brutal, and
Oh.
you're talking, you know, very
Hmm.
brutal.
Hmm.
So what we did is we put the floor in newspaper, we did a pentagram in salt,
Oh no.
and then we put a fake hand. She had this fake hand, and then we put tomato ketchup on the tips, so it looked like we'd killed someone and shoved them underneath the sofa, right? And we went out because we were a little bit drunk as well. We left it all like that with Slater, like literally on the TV on repeat.
Oh
So,
no.
and we went out on a night out, which was really funny, and we had a great night. We did all our moshing and stuff. Came back out, and then all of a sudden they had come home, and we forgot all about what we'd done. And they had come home to this whole scene, you know, thinking, "Oh my god, what have they done? You know, like, so we're thinking, and anyway, they've got a camera in their hand, a video camera of us, right? So we come through the door, obviously, like this is after a night out, so we look crap. We go in, go into your bedroom. So we went up to her bedroom, and they had literally put everything inverted in her room, like, you know, the inverted cross. So I'm not even joking, to the slightest pick on her wall, they'd inverted it. Even the mirror was inverted. The bed was inverted. We went into the wardrobe, and her clothes were like with the hanger at the bottom. Like, it was so funny.
Oh
It
my!
was the funniest thing I'd ever seen. Like, they got us back massively. I was like, that is the most, that is total sadism. You didn't just cry when you saw what we'd done. You literally got us back. Like, that was so funny. I was just like,
Oh
it was
my
honestly,
goodness!
we laughed so much. It was just like,
That's absolutely hilarious. Heard it the whole room. Oh my goodness. That's classic.
I know,
Oh
proper
my,
laughs.
I wish
Really
I
fun.
had the oh, that's awesome. That's a good
Yeah,
idea.
that was just that. I just didn't even think they had the capacity to get that. But the inverted cross,
Oh,
the whole
geez.
room. It was
No,
too funny.
yeah, I that is
Yeah,
purely over the top.
yeah.
Yes. I like it very much.
Yeah, it was very cool. So yeah, that's my one of my fondest memories of Slayer, because it was. And I asked them, "What did you think when you walked in?" They were like, "Oh my god!" They were so shocked. They were like, didn't know what to think, and they said it was the worst when we saw the hand. Because like, is that real? Like, they thought we were murderers for a slight second, you know, and then they realised it was tomato ketchup because like they smelt it, and it was like, oh. It's like, but the hand looked really real. That's the thing. It really was so funny. Fun times.
No, yes, they are. And you know what? Fun times, and we lived through them. You know
Mm,
what? That's great. So, so much fun.
definitely.
Well, I think that will do it for the night, and
Mhm,
I appreciate your time,
mhm.
and I look forward to everything coming up in the future.
Yeah,
Actually really looking forward to the next single.
yeah.
I'm looking forward to the album at the end of the year, and I'm
Mhm,
actually really looking forward to the movies, but I
mm,
know that's a time away. But
yeah. But hopefully it will be written soon. So
yeah. Well,
yeah.
again, this is Torta Thrash in the Pit. I'm James the Ragin Roacher, and I'm with the lovely Karina Sher of Mindlapse and Lake of Dreams. And that is the end of our interview. So I
Mhm.
guess that's a good night.
Good night. Thank you for the interview. Thank you for your support and everything.
Oh, have a good night, everyone.
when it's like a dream, when the moments fall away from me, and the world just stops for my own scene, and I cannot stop this pure aching, pure aching. When you hold me, and you show me that your love can feel like heaven, but your fear can feel like hell. When you hold me, and you show me that your love can feel like heaven, but your fear can feel like hell. When I cannot see, when the moments make me blind to feel, when it hurts to cry once more, and the only thing that I have left is a grieving door, a grieving door. When you hold me, and you show me that your love can feel like heaven, but your fear can feel like hell. When you hold me, and you show me that your love can feel like heaven, but your fear can feel like hell. So many words, so many promises that had never set me free. So many dreams, so many heartbreaks, and it's not the man I see. Did you feel